What happens when two fake HOA cops show up at your door trying to intimidate you, only to realize your Navy SEAL son is the one answering? That night taught me something I'll never forget, and maybe it'll hit you the same way. It was just after sunset, one of those quiet evenings where the world feels small and safe. I was in my recliner, tea in hand, news humming in the background when the knock came. Not a neighborly knock, not a kid selling cookies, but three hard thuds that rattled my chest. I peered out the side window and saw them. Two men in dark jackets with HOA security stitched across the front, crooked letters, badges that caught the porch light, but didn't shine the way real ones do. Something about the way they stood made my skin crawl. I cracked the door open. Chain latch still hooked. "Yes," I asked, and the tall one leaned forward with a smile that never reached his eyes. "Evening, sir. We're here on behalf of the Homeowners Association. Got some complaints about your property." My stomach sank. Complaints? I'd kept everything neat, quiet, exactly as the rules said. The shorter one stepped in closer, scanning the street. "Your fence isn't regulation height, and there've been noise complaints." I blinked. Noise? My loudest machine was the old vacuum cleaner. None of it made sense. "That doesn't add up," I said slowly. "And I've never had a notice." The tall one tilted his head, tone sharpening. "That's why we're here in person, to handle it before it escalates." "You don't want a fine, do you?" Every word felt less like an explanation and more like a warning. I thought about slamming the door, but my hand froze on the frame. And then from the hallway came a voice that changed everything. "Dad, who is it? My son." Marcus had just come home from deployment, broad-shouldered, steady as stone, carrying himself like someone who'd faced real danger and lived to tell about it. He stepped into view, his presence shifting the air, and for the first time that night, I exhaled. Marcus walked up beside me, studied their jackets. The patches, the way their stances looked rehearsed. "You said you're with the HOA?" he asked calmly. "That's right," the tall one said too quickly. "We can fine your dad unless he fixes it tonight." Marcus tilted his head, that half-curious, half-dangerous look he had. "Got paperwork, letters, anything official?" The shorter one scoffed. "We don't need paperwork. We handle this directly off the books." Marcus almost laughed. "Funny, that's not how HOAs work. They send letters. They don't send two guys in discount jackets to knock at night." My chest loosened as he spoke, like his calm was flowing straight into me. But the men didn't back down. "Neighbors are complaining," the tall one said. "Fines can get expensive." Marcus didn't blink. "Which neighbors?" Silence. Then the short one muttered, "Board keeps identities private." Marcus leaned forward just slightly. "Interesting. Because I asked my dad last week who the HOA president was. He told me, 'Nice woman named Brenda Walters bakes pies for the 4th of July barbecue. You know her?' Their blank stares told the whole story. Marcus smirked. "That's the problem. You don't even know who runs the HOA you claim to represent." That landed like a punch. The shorter man's jaw tightened, his hand brushing the inside of his jacket pocket. Marcus caught it instantly. His voice dropped low. "Whatever you think you've got in there, leave it." The taller one forced a smile. "You don't want this to get ugly." Marcus chuckled, calm as ever. "Ugly? You knock on my father's door at night with fake badges and lies. That's already ugly. The difference is, we're not scared." And just then, salvation. The squeak of a gate, footsteps across concrete. Mr. Gonzalez, the retired firefighter 2 houses down, stepped onto his porch. "Everything all right over there?" he called. Another neighbor came out with a phone in hand. Then another porch light, and another. In minutes, half the block was watching. Marcus raised his voice so all could hear. These men claim they're with the HOA, but they don't have paperwork, don't know the president's name, and they're threatening my father. Murmurs spread, phones lifted, recording lights blinking. The tall one tugged his partner's arm. We should go, he muttered, panic showing at the edges. But pride is poison. The short one hissed, not until he shows respect. Marcus stepped forward, shoulders squared, voice steady but sharp. Respect is earned. You came here with lies. You leave with nothing. 10 seconds. Walk away or I'll have the police here before you can blink, and this whole street will watch you get escorted out in handcuffs. The tension was thick enough to choke on. For a moment I thought fists might fly, but the cameras, the neighbors, the weight of exposure cracked their act. The tall one finally pulled his partner toward their dented sedan. Tires screeched, and they were gone, or so we thought. 10 minutes later, I spotted headlights idling down the block. My chest tightened again. They didn't leave, I whispered. Marcus's jaw set. They're waiting for the crowd to thin. Sure enough, the short one stepped out again, swaggering like a man too stubborn to let go. He started toward our house. Marcus moved instantly, stepping onto the walkway. Stop right there, he commanded. The man sneered. You think you humiliated me? This isn't over. Marcus didn't raise his voice. Come one step closer, and this block will see what happens when someone threatens a veteran on private property. Is that the story you want? From the curb, a young neighbor in a hoodie lifted her phone. Want me to call the cops right now? That cracked him. His bravado flickered, steps faltered. He spat at the ground, but backed away, glaring as he climbed back into the car. This time they sped off into the night for good. Minutes later, police cruisers rolled in. Neighbors gave statements. The woman in the hoodie showed video. Mr. Gonzalez backed it all up. The officers nodded, serious, promising to investigate. They said scams like this had been popping up. Men targeting older homeowners, hoping to scare them into handing over cash. I sat on my porch, hands trembling, but heart steadier than before. Marcus crouched beside me. They thought you were alone, he said softly. But you weren't. I swallowed hard. If you hadn't been here. He shook his head. You told them no before I even stepped in. That mattered. Don't forget that. And he was right. For all my fear, I had planted my feet and refused to let them in. The neighbors who stood with us, the solidarity, the recordings, it showed me I wasn't just some outsider here. I belonged. Later, as the street dimmed and porch lights flicked off, Marcus leaned back and said something that stuck. Fear makes you look at the threat. Courage makes you look at who's standing beside you. And maybe that's the real lesson. Scammers, bullies, liars, they thrive on fear and silence. But the moment you stand tall, ask questions, refuse to give away your dignity, the whole act collapses. So tell me, what do you think? Were those men just cowards chasing easy money? Or was it something darker? Have you ever had someone fake authority to push you around? Drop your story in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. And if you believe standing tall matters, hit that subscribe button, because sometimes the reminder we need most is that we are not alone.